Welcome to another episode of That Crazy Triangle Guy. Today I'd like to take a look at the Dixie Bitcoin and the altcoin market cap that's minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. Let's start off with the Dixie here. Looking at the monthly view, this is covering a 50-year period, over 50 years of the dollar index. Now this pink line here, lavender line, represents a trend line and channel that we are currently trading in. And as you'll notice, this line is also pretty much parallel to this, a trend line that would be drawn through this price action as well as this price action here. The only two other times where we've hit or gone through this dashed channel that we've been oscillating in for the past 50 years. And I mean, you can see the pattern: up, down, up, sideways, up, sideways, up, down, supposedly. Now, do I think we're going to come all the way down here? I don't know. This is November of 2026, so I don't have any idea what's going to go on in November 2026. And the center line here is even November 24. It's over a year and a half away. So I imagine we'll start heading this direction and see what happens after that. Now, later on, while we're here, you'll see a dotted line and a dashed line that I have on the daily or hourly chart. And if we zoom in here, you can see that these represents major trend lines where even on the monthly chart, there's been a lot of support and resistance at these lines, at these levels. And if you look on a weekly or daily time frame, you'll see a lot more interaction with these lines. But you can see it even here on the monthly, going all the way back 50 years. And you look right there, this is in 75 where we held this as support and resistance back here in 73. So anyway, that's what those lines represent. This orange line here is the FOMC meeting in June. Now here we are we're on the 4 hour. And zooming out here from our most recent high of 114, you can see that the purple lavender line has been a trend line here, and you can see where it's acted as a trend line here, and we traded inside it here. It acted as resistance here, and trend line there. You can see the interaction with this channel. And since April, or March, since mid-March, we've been trading in it inside the channel. Now, you take this off auto. But just recently, as of May 10th, when the most recent CPI numbers came out, which came out pretty much as expected, but a lot of investors took that to indicate that we may have another one more 0.25% hike in the interest rate in June on the June 14th meeting. here. But a lot of times you'll get an overreaction, and I think we're going to have a correction here. We stopped at this high right here before reaching that high and were rejected. Also to note that this we've pretty much been trading in this parallel channel for about a month, and typically you oscillate in a channel, and when you hit the top, you then go back down to the bottom. So I expect that that's what we'll see. I also do have another channel here that we were trading in on a smaller time frame. And the blue and yellow one here. I expect us to come back down um, into this area, and we'll just have to see what we bounce off of to see what others are looking at as support and resistance. But I imagine heading into that this is, overreaction, come back down, probably consolidate sideways around this line, which has been a major support and resistance for 50 years and has been really sticky for the past couple months. And I imagine we'll continue on and about this line heading into the meeting. And then from there, we'll see if this is going to act as a bull flag, and we will drop back down into the channel. Anyway, we'll just see if that will happen. I don't expect that we would. I don't know. We'll see. I think we'll just hang out here for a while for the next month. Worst case scenario, I think maybe we continue oscillating in this channel, but not really. More or less sideways, if not continuing our downward move into this channel. All right, so let's move on to Bitcoin. That's the weekly. Let's start with the daily. And here are these vertical lines. First off, let me note is our blue is the CPI on the 13th, and the orange is the Fed meeting on the 14th of June. Now, what happened last week? I'm pretty sure I went over this in the last video, but let me just turn off the daily Gaussian channel for a second. We had been. Where do I want to start? I went over this in the previous video with the triangles. Anyway, we did fall out of the triangle, but really, in reality, what happened is we've been trading in this purple channel since November, since FTX. You can see since the FTX collapse, we've been oscillating up and down inside this channel. And that's all we're continuing to do. And we went down, just poked through the channel a little bit, basically to hit this red curve arc, which is the mean band, represents the mean band of the Gaussian channel. You can see here on the weekly that we wicked right down to the bottom. Wicked right down to the mean band of the Gaussian channel. And why did we do that? Because we could. And the bears and the shorters knew that we could. That's how far they could take us down, realistically. And that got us to there. It got us. This is the 200 weekly moving average, which I put this yellow line here to mark that point on the when we go to the daily chart. Um, but you can see we closed well above the 200 weekly, and we bounced off the bottom of we bounced off the mean band, 200 weekly. Um, and if we turn this Gaussian channel back on the daily, we bounced off of that. So you can even see on the daily how high we closed. We closed way up here. This wick right here, this wick represents about a half hour of trading. So we just came down here real quickly to hit our targets and bounce right back. It all got bought up. That there's our yellow line, which is the 200 weekly, and we closed well back into the daily Gaussian channel. Currently, we are. Let me turn this back off so we can see these colors properly. We are trading right at. We wicked through this red line, which is support, well, and resistance. We're busting through it right now. But anyway, it's a trend line of support of these lows here. Now, where are we going? Well, go back to the channel that we've been trading in. We go down to the bottom, we come back up to the top rather quickly. We mostly have been trading in the upper half of this channel since the beginning of the year, since January. We've been trading in the upper half of this channel. We only fell down here because of the SEC. It was, Operation Choke Point was a lot of FUD that was being spread back in March. And the SEC was, I forget, suing Kraken for staking. And there was a lot of FUD about how they were going to ban staking in the United States. And the New York Attorney General was going after Kraken for operating in the United States. Anyway, a lot of FUD right here was the only thing that got us down to the bottom of this channel. Otherwise, we've been trading in the upper portion of this channel. And here, um, why are we trading down here? See, it doesn't even make any sense that we're down here. Um, but anyway, we came down here because we could. And I had postulated a worst case scenario for Bitcoin, and we're pretty much following it. The question is now, so we're trading in between the top of the Gaussian channel and the mean band of the Gaussian channel on the weekly. That's what these two red lines represent. As you can see here, I've drawn these. Well, move you back, move you back. I've drawn those lines to using previous bottoms of the Gaussian channel as a template, and it's pretty gives you an idea of. I mean, who knows exactly? I can't predict where the channel's going to go, but it gives you a good idea of where it's going to go. So those are those lines there. And we continue to trade between them. Now, when we bust out of the top, we typically have a big move out the top. Uh, in the past, it's been, I don't know, 40, 60%, something like that. I don't know, a lot. I don't expect it to be that much this time around, but I do expect a big, huge move out the top of this channel. So we are headed back up to the top of the purple channel. I believe we're just going to go straight up here. I think we will stop here. This green line is an estimate of where the daily Gaussian channel is going to continue going, the top portion of it. Typically, when we come into the daily Gaussian channel, we'll come back up here and we might trade a little bit along it for a couple days um, before moving on upwards. So I do believe that that would be what we're going to do. This is Monday. I think by Wednesday we're up here. Thursdays are typically by Wednesday. I think we good chance we could hit the top of the channel here. Thursdays are typically um, bad days. We go down, so I think we'll kind of maybe trade along this line of our triangle that we had been trading in, and along the top of the Gaussian channel, which seemed to match up here. Um, and find resistance along the top of the channel into the weekend here. And then Monday, Sunday night, depending on where you're at. Well, 5 o'clock Sunday, where I'm at, is the beginning of the new day in London. So I imagine we'll bust a move at that point next week up to here. So that from where we're at now up to here next week is a 32% move for Bitcoin. And I think we will see this move to the top of this channel before our meeting in mid-June. So in the into May, into the end of May, the beginning of June, that's where we'll be trading at. After which I do expect a pullback, maybe down to the, who knows? Let's just start there. After here, um, we'll see what our path looks like on the way up there. If we do come back down and test the top of this channel, eventually I do expect us to top the test of this channel, as well as this uh, resistance that we've had at this level, at the 29,000, 28 to $30,000 level. So I do expect us, after breaking through that, to come back down and test it. Now, whether we do that right away or maybe out here or farther on down the road is yet to be seen. Now, that's what I expect. I'm looking for. However, I do not exclude the chance that we do come back up here. I do think that's our next move up to the top of this, at least to the top of the Gaussian channel. And I don't exclude the chance that we may come back down one more time to the mean band. And that would get us to 25.3. But if we did that, I expect that, like here, to be a quick move down and back up, just to say we did it. Um, I don't think that's likely, but I'm not excluding it as a possibility. So, yeah, again, I don't think that action matches, though, our moves through the daily Gaussian channel and the week. I don't know. It just doesn't seem right that we would come back up through the daily Gaussian channel and then back down into it again. But it is possible. I think it's more likely we continue on up here and be done with this. We've spent enough time here. It's time to move on. Anyway, so that's Bitcoin, and we have made quite a move here from the, well, I'm not going to measure it. We continue to move upwards. What else do we have on Bitcoin? Oh, I just wanted to show typically. So here's other times we've fallen into the Gaussian channel and we quickly move back up. Let me take it off auto. And it's hard to tell, but these are big moves here. Like this one, that's 20%. This move here, well, I didn't even get the ruler. That move from the wick to there is 40%. So those are big moves through the channel, and pretty quick moves too. Over the course, this is a daily chart, so that's over the course of a week or 2 weeks here. Um, but I expect to see something like this, like where we fell through and came up and then kind of traded along the top of the channel and came back in. Now here you can see we did fall through, we came up, and we did come back down. So that's possible too. I'm not excluding that. So we'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, let's see what happens when we get up here. Okay. Do you have anything else to say about Bitcoin? Not right now. So yeah, big move. Probably we are going to do this. Uh, just depends on if we do it now before the meeting. If we did come back down here, um, possibly we don't make the move till after the meeting. Regardless, in another month and a half, we should see 40,000. It's not too much further down the road. The other option is that we get rejected and go back down here to, I don't know, 15,000. Just being facetious. Anyway, so that's that for Bitcoin. Now let's go to the. Okay, what I wanted to show you first of all, okay, this is the total market cap, total three, minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's all the coins minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is on the hourly chart right here. You see this purple line? It's a bottom of a parallel channel that I've drawn. And see here we're on May 8th through the 15th, and we don't quite wick down here. The lowest wick is down to 345 billion. Now, when we go to the hourly or the daily chart from the 8th to the 15th here, the lowest wick is down to 342 billion. Where's 345? That's up here. So you can see those wicks go 3 billion more. They go through the bottom of this purple channel. And over here, they don't quite reach. So when you're going from an hourly chart or a 5 minute or a minutely chart, an hourly chart seem to match up. And then when you go to a daily and weekly chart, which also match up, um, the wicks between what I'm trying to say is the wicks between the daily and the hourly don't match up. However, overall, they do represent the same um, action. Anyway. So here we are on the daily chart. Just keep that in mind that if you're switching between the time frames that sometimes you'll see wicks going through lines that you've drawn or not quite meeting lines that you've drawn, and it's just I don't know. It has something to do with how they formulate the candles. I guess I'm not sure, but they do indicate the general notion, the general trends of price action. It's all consistent. So here we are on the daily with the total market cap minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. And we've been trading in the, I don't know, what am I doing here? We've been trading in this purple channel again since the FTX collapse, since November. Okay, so originally, as you remember from a previous video, I had drawn this channel with this dashed line here. And this is an example of where it doesn't match up with the hourly, and I will go to the hourly because that's a better represents better why I drew the channels. I'll go to the 12-hour. That shows better why I drew the channels the way I did. So you can see the dashed channel hit this wick and this wick, and also coincided with had a lot of contact points here. That's the channel I believe that we were trading in. However, we fell out of it. And then I realized, hey, you know what? Maybe we're trading in this channel. Actually, I had drawn this channel like this. No, not like that. I had drawn this channel up here. That's what it was. And I had this as an outlier, and it was meeting up with these. This dashed one was an old one, and as soon as we fell out here, yeah, I did make this, and that's the one you saw in my last video. And I realized that no, it's more like that. So now we're mostly trading in the channel except for this action up here. But otherwise we have a ton of contact points there, a ton of contact points there. And we also are in this ascending triangle, which I believed we were going to bust out right here. And it had to do with some previous, I think this dashed line acted as the base of my previous ascending triangle. But you can see we fell out, and then we just made a new one. We just extended the triangle a little bit more. And why isn't my line showing up here? You'll see on this weekly view that we did have a line of resistance here. And it was getting really, really tight here. We were really consolidating in this area. And I thought this was our bust out move. However, we just found resistance at these levels here and got rejected back down to here. And now we're bouncing off back up to here. So this weekly shows a clearer view of what's going on. Now also trading in this purple channel, the next move logically would be up here, which would bust us out finally of the ascending triangle here, and I think that